Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English Fluent Forge. My name is Tom. Today you will take a special kind of listening test. It's simple, natural, and it will help you find out your real English level. How does it work? You will hear 6 different stories. Each story is at a different level. We will start from A1, beginner, and gradually go up to C2, expert. Your task is simple. Listen and see how much you understand. After each story, give yourself a score from 1 to 10. If you understood most of it, you can try the next level. If it feels difficult, that is likely your current level. This is not an exam. It's just a fun test. So relax and enjoy the stories. A 1-level Leo's story. My name is Leo. I am 30 years old. I live in a small, quiet town by the sea. My life is simple and I like it. Today I want to tell you about my day. Every morning I wake up at 6 o'clock. My room is small but warm. The sun comes in and touches my face with light. I open my eyes and feel calm. I sit on the bed for a while, breathe slowly, then stretch my arms. My back makes a soft sound and I smile. I go to the kitchen and make tea. I like tea, I don't like coffee much. I look out the window, the street, the bakery, the blue sky. Sometimes an old man walks by with his dog. The dog looks happy. 7. I go to work. I work in a small bookstore. I like the smell of books and the soft sound of pages. Helping people find books makes me happy. 5. I close the shop and go home. The sky is orange and pink. The air is cool and peaceful. At home I change my clothes, cook, and then sit by the window to read or listen to soft music. This is my simple day. Not big, but it's mine, and I like it. How much did you understand? Give yourself a score from 1 to 10. A 2-level Rosa's story. My name is Rosa and this is the story of my first job in a big city. I grew up in a small village where everyone knew each other. Life was simple. But I always dreamed of living in a big city. At 19 I decided to go to the capital. My parents were worried but encouraged me. Everything in the city was new, fast cars, busy people, tall buildings. I shared a small apartment with 2 girls. The kitchen and bathroom were not very nice, but I liked it because it was my first home. My first job was in a cafe. On the first day I was very nervous. I made mistakes, I gave wrong orders, forgot to give change, dropped a cup. But the manager, Sophia, said, "Mistakes are normal. The real mistake is to stop trying." Slowly I got better. I learned to stay calm even when it was busy. I learned to talk to different people. I began to like the energy of the city, but sometimes I cried remembering my village. After 6 months I got a promotion. I started training new employees. I felt proud of myself. I learned that being afraid is normal. But fear should not stop you from moving forward. Small successes are also important. How much did you understand? Give yourself a score from 1 to 10. B1 level, Daniel's story. My name is Daniel and this is the year that changed my life. My job was okay but it didn't make me happy. Life felt colorless. One day on the train I saw a little girl creating a beautiful scene. The sun, trees, a lake. She said, "This is the place I want to visit someday." At that moment I remembered my dreams. Traveling, learning new languages, seeing the world. When I got home I wrote a list of my wishes. I felt fear, but also excitement. The next day I took a step. I booked a ticket to Japan. Everything changed when I arrived in Japan. New people, new food, new places, new language, getting lost, but still being happy. When I came back I started learning Japanese. I put new words on my walls. 3 months later an international company called me for an interview. And I got the job. I learned, a small step can change your whole life. The student noticed something that most people overlook. But one evening he saw an old man feeding pigeons in a park. Children ran around him laughing, and the birds moved in small circles at his feet. The scene seemed ordinary, almost forgettable. But the student saw something unexpected. The old man looked completely at peace, as if that small, simple act was enough to fill his life with meaning. When the student returned to class, he told Dr. Morgan about it. He admitted that he didn't understand how someone could look so calm during such a simple activity. Dr. Morgan smiled and said, "You've learned your lesson. Happiness rarely comes from grand achievements. It often hides in quiet, fleeting moments that most people ignore." That story changed something inside me. For years, I had believed that my future happiness depended on big plans and impressive accomplishments. I chased good grades, a good reputation, and a clear path toward a successful career. But I suddenly realized that I had paid almost no attention to the small, meaningful details of my life. I was always moving forward, never stopping to focus on the present moment. Dr. Morgan challenged us to keep a daily journal. Not about our tasks or goals, but about the things we noticed. A stranger holding the door open. The way sunlight reflected off a window. The warmth of tea on a cold morning. A brief moment of gratitude. At first, the exercise felt strange and pointless. But gradually it began to train my mind in a new kind of awareness. It felt as if I were learning to see in a deeper, more attentive way. By the end of the semester, I felt like a different person. I started listening to people with more patience instead of planning my response while they were still speaking. I read books more slowly, letting the ideas sink into my mind rather than rushing to finish the chapters. I became more aware of other people's emotions, especially the quiet sadness some friends carried behind their jokes. I realized how much of the world I had been missing simply because I was always distracted. Dr. Morgan taught me something that no textbook ever could. Intelligence is the ability to solve problems, but wisdom is the ability to understand people. You can be intelligent without being wise, but you cannot be wise without paying attention. Years later, when I became a psychologist myself, I often thought back to that class as the moment my real education began. When I sat with a patient, I could still hear Dr. Morgan's voice in my mind. Notice what they are not saying. Notice the silence between their words. Notice the emotions behind their eyes. These small details, the ones most people overlook, often reveal the truth. That professor changed my mind and, without realizing it, changed the course of my entire life. And all he did was teach me how to see.